Hi, I'm Daniel and this is Ashville. Today we will be customizing our two new Volvo 8x4 tippers. There was one problem. They needed a little bit of TLC and they were white.
Caution, truck turning.
This has taken an almighty wallop. Let's do this! We're off! We sold some of our older lorries at auction and I needed to find new Euro 6 lorries. Now, generally, I tend to buy brand new, but this wasn't possible because of the worldwide shortage of semiconductors at the moment, which are what they need to make the ECUs which go in all lorries. So I began to look at used lorries. Now, generally, I sway towards Scania, but I do always say that Volvo and Scania are like for like quality-wise, so I began to look at Volvos. I was lucky enough to find two sister lorries which were manufactured in 2016 with automatic gearboxes and the FMX construction spec. There was one problem. They needed a little bit of TLC and they were white. For me, the small amount of issues was far outweighed by the positives, so I made the decision to buy them both. We need to take a close look over the lorries from front to back. We need to pay attention aesthetically and mechanically. Now, aesthetically, it's important to remember that the lorry is never going to look 100% perfect because the lorries are used. But mechanically, the lorries have to be roadworthy so they can go on the road and work safely and handle the harsh conditions which they have to work in. We work in a lot of built-up areas like central London, and having state-of-the-art safety equipment is key. On all our lorries, we have CCTV. We have side scans, which is a monitoring system that gives the driver a warning when there's a pedestrian or a road user or a cyclist on their near side, also known as the passenger side. We also have announcements like warning, vehicle turning left.
Caution, truck turning left.
This is so pedestrians and all other road users can hear and have a notification that the vehicle is about to turn. We have white noise when reversing. We have cyclist barriers and we have underrun bars. So here's the plan. We're going to do the basic aesthetic work on both the lorries, then send them to be sprayed. Now, note that we are not servicing them at this point. That's because when the lorry is being sandblasted and you're removing the current coat of paint, the sand goes absolutely everywhere. Also note that we are just doing the cab and the body. We are not doing the chassis. The reason we're not doing the chassis is because when sandblasting, you can damage the wiring loom. Then you spend the next few years scratching your head on a skateboard underneath the lorry, thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, what is the problem with this? Trying to diagnose when you have broken cables on a lorry is the bane of any fitter or lorry mechanic, however you refer to them. It is the bane of their existence. Once the lorry is sprayed, we're going to leave it where it is and we're going to do the sign writing there. So while the paint is fresh, we get a better bond with the artwork. Then we're going to bring it back to the yard and we're going to do the servicing and all the aesthetic work. Let's do this! When I got this, I could hear a little air leak from around here, and I thought maybe it's just a fitting by the gearbox, but Noel's had a close look and it isn't. It's a bit dirty around there and we need to have a proper look. So what Noel's going to do is put the body up, he's going to put the cab forward and he's going to give the chassis and the engine a proper wash. When he's completely cleaned it, we may be able to see a little bit better. Had a look at the lorry from front to back and we had a nice surprise. The spring bushes on this, you can actually grease them. So we've had a couple of Volvos where you can't grease them, but these you can. We're doing a little bit of welding on both of these wings because they've taken a little bit of damage. Again, this is perfectly normal. So underneath here, we've had to gouge out this area because it was cracked, and then Noel was going to start to weld this. So let's go over to the other side because that one took a really bad slap and we've had to take it off. We're going to straighten it and put it back on and do some welding with that. that as well. So you can see that this has taken an almighty wallop. It's still in good condition, so we'll straighten it and we will put this top skirt back on and then we'll start welding. The wings are all sorted now. We're going to make a list in a second, but before we make a list for any parts, I'm going to jump in, turn her on and shake the steering. This can be my favorite part or my worst part. Noel's going to say one of two things. If straight away he says, okay, that means we're good. If he pauses, that means I've got to spend money. Let's see. Tell me. Handbrake off. Where's the handbrake on this thing? It's electronic handbrake. We can't just take it off. Handbrake is off. What do we think? All good. Nice. I'm feeling like I made a really good purchase. Shook the steering, handbrake on off, foot brake on off. And all we are going to do now, other than the bodywork we just did, is give it a service. But there's one other thing that's been spotted. The cover behind the headlight. So if you look at this side, and then you go and look at the other side, you'll realize there's not a cover here. Now, it's not essential, but me personally, I like to have the cover here because it stops all the dirt and debris going up and messing up the entire area behind your headlight. So it makes it a lot easier to work if you've got the cover. Then you take the cover off and then here will be relatively clean. Other little electrical bits, but we'll do this when it gets back from spraying. Even though I am not having the chassis sprayed, there's bits and pieces I want to put on after. So this little box that you can see here, this is the announcement for vehicle turning left. Now this is completely dead. There's power going to it and it's not working. So I'll order a new one of that. And the side scan isn't working at all. It looks like somebody's ripped out part of it. So I will take it to get sprayed, bring it back, vehicle turning left, side scan, and then she's good to go. We're on the way up to J Radford. Noel is following me. They know we're coming. So first thing in the morning, they're gonna have a look around the lorries. And once they've had a look around, they're gonna sandblast and hopefully get spraying in the next few days. We're off. Yeah, black body, black cab, black wheels, that's it. Leave the chassis alone, please, yeah? It's now time to start stripping the lorry down, cover up the areas which are not going to be sprayed, and start to get the primer on. start the spray work on the body and wheels and check one more time that it is in fact Ashville black. The body and wheels are done, and now it's the cab. It's time to blast off the excess sand, get some primer on it, and start spraying in black. So the paintwork is all done. There's no better time to get the artwork on the lorry and get a firm bond with the adhesive and the paint. That is one of the reasons why you will never see an Ashville lorry out on the road with the artwork peeling off. Looking good. I can't wait to get these back to the yard. They are back and they're black. Thankfully, both the Volvos are back here and they are sign written. So I've done a big order from Volvo. I have 2 complete service kits and have some other bits and pieces that Noel wanted for the lorries. So we're gonna start that work right away. So the servicing and general maintenance is done. It's time to start on my favorite part, fitting the custom Ashville mudguards and the brand new personalized number plates. Servicing is done, all the aesthetic work is done, but we did notice something. One of the tyres was going sort of bald on one side, and that happened from just driving it up to Radford and then driving it back here. So Rudy is here to do the tracking on both lorries to ensure everything is running straight and in line. We have a lot of plant and vehicles, and like any company in this industry, it's important for the lorries to go out on the road as personalized with as much customization as possible. While the lorries are out working, they're actually acting as a marketing and branding tool. We now have the added incentive that people are taking pictures of our lorries. So it's really important for me that they look good and that when you see an Ashville lorry, you know it. It's not just a black lorry with two high-vis yellow lines. So that's it. My two new Volvo Tippers are now officially part of the Ashville family. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click here to see a video on us restoring our 2012 road sweeper, and click here to see the restoration of a shipping container to create my new office. I can't tell the difference between them when I look at them. If you were to cover the number plate, I'd never know the difference.